Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Persepolis 2, the story of a return by Marjane Satrapi. In Persepolis 2, Margie is in Vienna preparing to enter a French language school so that she could continue her studies. But she is not living with the emigre family of her mother's best friend Zoho because that was the original plan. But Zoho moved Margie to a boarding house run by Catholic nuns. Here, Margie knows no one and feels very lonely. Margie's roommate Lucia is a friendly girl from the Tyrol region of Austria, but communication is an issue because Margie and Lucia don't share a common language. Lucia understands Margie's sensitivities like communal living arrangements, where Margie has trouble adjusting to living here after having lived in a very comfortable home life with her well off parents. Lucia invites her to spend Christmas break with her hospitable family in Tyrol. During the next school break, Margie stays at the boarding house and has a run in with the Mother Superior that actually results in Margie getting kicked out. The Mother Superior insults Margie's Iranian heritage, and Margie responds with an insult questioning the nun's virtue. At school, after being ignored by the other students, slowly Margie gains some popularity with the mathematical and tutoring abilities. Her artistic talents also garner attention when she draws caricatures of the teachers. But it's Margie's status as a refugee who has known war that attracts a set of friends who give Margie her first taste of belonging in Vienna. The group is led by an older French girl named Julie and a punk boy named Momo, who Margie tolerates as he spouts pseudo intellectual ideas. After Margie is affected by the nuns, Julie and her mother Amelie invite her to live with them, and she is allowed to share Julie's bedroom. Margie, who comes from a society that reveres parents and who deeply misses her own mother, is shocked here to see Julie ignore and disrespect Amelie. Margie spends time with Amelie and likes her, especially when she comes to know that Amelie knows Iranian culture. Julie's worldliness, that is, her sexual activity and taking birth control pills regularly, has a big impact on Margie. Margie envies and at the same time judges Julie simultaneously. While Amelie is traveling, Julie throws a party. The guests smoke and make out. In fact, one guest stays and has sex with Julie, which astonishes Margie. Under her friend's influence, Margie adopts the ways of Western culture and worries that she is losing her Iranian identity. She changes her hair, makeup, and clothes style. Margie now smokes and also takes drugs. When Julie and Amelie move away from Vienna, Margie sublets a room in a house. During that time, now Margie is actually 16 years old, her mother comes and visits her. Margie limits about her life in Vienna and does not tell anything to her mother, and her mother also doesn't tell much about their life in Iran. Margie takes a room in the house of a Fra Dr. Heller, who is a horrible person and who adds stress to Margie's life. Margie finds some solace in being with her boyfriend, a student named Marcus. They actually date for 2 years, but their relationship is never the idyllic and it is not the way what Margie wanted. Marcus's mother insults Margie by saying that she is actually using Marcus to get a passport, and she also cuts off Marcus's allowance. Now, Margie only has to finance their dates, and Margie also buys the drugs they smoke together, and slowly Margie starts buying and reselling the drugs to other students at their school. And Margie understands that she is growing dependent on Marcus for emotional support. Now, Margie's drug dealings ends when the school principal threatens her with expulsion. At the same time, her relationship with Marcus also ends when she finds him in a bed with another girl. At this moment only, Margie's landlady accuses her of theft, and Margie storms out and spends the next 2 months on the streets until she ends up in a hospital. Her parents call her to come back to Iran, and Margie puts on a wheel for the first time in 4 years and heads to the airport. When Margie returns to Iran in 1988, the long war with Iraq has ended, but the fundamentalist Islamic regime continues to oppress Iranians with strict social and religious rules and severe punishments. Still recovering from her breakdown in Vienna, Margie tries to recede into the shadows. But her parents, family, and old friends gradually coax her back into social interactions. Margie's relationship with her parents has matured, but she still relies on them for advice and for emotional and financial support. Margie's close relationship with her grandmother resumes, although there is a period when her grandmother won't speak to her after Margie commits a selfish act that offends her. Margie won't mention her problems in Vienna since she feels deep guilt over having fled Iran while others faced the war and other difficulties. Margie feels that her problems in Vienna were inconsequential in comparison. Margie is keenly aware that Iran changed for the worse while she was away. Reminders of the war are everywhere, and the people are now too tired and fearful to stand up to the authorities. Women have it particularly bad in male dominated Iran, and Margie has difficulty tolerating her old friends who seem obsessed with Western superficialities, at least in private. Publicly, women are obliged to hide themselves both physically, that is, behind the wheel, and intellectually. Margie's mother persuades her to seek the help of a psychoanalyst, and Margie tries several before one suggests that she take medication to combat her depression. The antidepressants make her feel more hopeless, and Margie, in fact, attempts suicide by swallowing a lot of pills. When Margie unexpectedly survives, she decides this is a sign that she needs to make big changes in her life. So she alters her looks, takes up aerobics, and feels vital for the first time in years. She goes to a party where she meets Risa, an ex-soldier who is now an artist. They decide to marry, but first they plan to go back to school. Like all institutions in Iran, the art school that Margie and Risa attends is tightly controlled by the regime. Over time, the couple become part of a faction of students that react to the repression by violating rules on social behavior in private places, particularly by holding alcohol-fueled parties at each other's homes. The parties are sometimes raided, resulting in arrest and stiff fines that students' parents must pay. When a friend of Margie and Riaz's dies in a fall while fleeing with authorities after a raid, Risa vows to stop going to parties, but Margie decides to party more. Margie and Risa start arguing endlessly, and Marcie actually thinks that since opposites attract each other, this is a good sign, but their arguing only increases and does not decrease. But in spite of their disagreements, when Risa proposes to Margie, she accepts. Margie's father supports this arrangement even though he believes they aren't compatible. Margie's parents throw a huge wedding for their only daughter, but when Margie and Risa continue to disagree, Margie realizes their marriage is probably doomed. They stay married, although unhappily, and with separate bedrooms as they continue at school. Towards the end of the 4-year program, Margie and Risa are assigned to work together on the final project. For 7 months, they happily collaborate without arguing on an ambitious theme park plan for Tehran based on figures from Persian mythology. Once the plan is completed and earns them perfect scores, Margie tries to make the plan a reality. But the authorities reject the plan because it is Persian and not Islamic. Margie realizes that she and Risa must divorce and she must leave Iran. Margie informs her parents and they agree. Her father reflects by saying that as Iranians, they are crushed not only by the government but by the weight of their own traditions. Margie is accepted into an arts program in Strasbourg, which is in France, but she has to wait for 3 months for a student's visa. She cherishes her final months with her mother, father, and grandmother in the country that she instinctively loves but cannot remain in. The story ends like her previous book, with Margie at the Tehran airport saying goodbye to her family. This is a summary of the book. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, And if you're not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.